My son was crying and it was bothering me. Go ahead. So yeah, so what's this? GBPAUD?
Yeah, it's GA, yeah.
All right, cool. So it was in the channel. What else?
I got to delete this. This is old. Yeah. So this is what I'm looking at right now. These are my support and resistance lines right here.
So you want to see it break? What was your take profit? You said 84. What?
I put 84.1.
All right, last high. What was that? That's Lewis's TV. I got it. I'll take over, Lou. I'm gonna mute you real quick. This is mad loud. All right. So with GBPAUD, so as you guys know by now, one of the things we're always looking for is like confluence, right? We want to see confirmations of price, either price or, we may have a, like a news event or something along with a broken channel or a trend or anything. At the end, what we're looking for is we're going to observe what the potential destination of a trade can be, right? And one of the things I like to do and focus on is, on the zones that the market currently trends or, kind of spends a lot of time at, or when the market does approach a trend or a channel or a zone. One of the questions I'm always asking myself is, like, what happened last time it was here? Was this a breakout? Was this the retest of a breakout? Am I looking at a potential, continuation? What signs of this continuation shows me what can happen? So, in the end, we were paying attention to this uptrend we were in last time. And for those of you guys that know by now, based off of market structure and, how we look for when the market moves from an uptrend and transitions to a downtrend, I want us to, let's go over that real quick. And we'll look into GBPAUD in terms of how she goes on and shows that exact setup that we're looking for. Let's see here. So let's start off with the market going off from an uptrend to a downtrend, right? For us, when we're looking at an uptrend, few of the things we want to pay attention to and we're going to always look at is the fact that on an uptrend, you're always going to have higher low points. Okay, so when what we mean by higher low points is based off the lowest point of that candle, right? So if you guys watched the video in the course or have seen in the course, when I talk about a higher high or a higher low or a lower high or a lower low, I'm speaking about the point of the candle. So since candle represents price and time, we have a higher high, right? Meaning the highest point of that candle was higher than the previous candle. And we'll look at that. The lower low, right, means that the low of that candle is lower than the previous low on the previous candle. So when we're looking at an uptrend, right, things we're paying attention to is, I taught you guys that to confirm a trend, we look for 3 touches, right? And then we've also spoken about the fact that after that third touch, we usually see the market break the trend or respect it and go the opposite way. So what happens is we have 3 touches here. It confirmed our trend. The market comes close to the trend now, right? And finally breaks through this time. How we confirm that this right here is no longer an uptrend anymore is when the market comes back and retests the last previous highest low point. Okay? So again, the higher low points are what define an uptrend, right? 3 touches to that trend confirm the trend line, right? So we have an uptrend and it's confirmed. And then we have a break of structure when the market breaks out of that trend and it comes back and retests. We now have a confirmed market structure set up here where we see that the market is no longer in an uptrend and now forming a downtrend. Why? Because on a downtrend, we have lower high points. So when we look at that, we had a high right here, which was the higher high. But after this point, there was no higher point to that trend. Instead, the market actually came down and created a lower high point. Okay, and on top of that, it retested the previous or the last highest low point on that trend. So let's go ahead and look at it on this chart right here. Right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and adjust my trend here based off of what we're seeing here. So earlier in the week, I had this trend right here. And based off of before the market actually broke this trend over here, you know, this was the last highest low point right here. And I'll highlight it for you guys so you can see. And if you don't have any questions, please, if you do have any questions, unmute yourself and go right ahead and ask if you don't understand. But here's the last highest low point before the market came down and broke it. I'm gonna mute you real quick, Alex.
Really appreciate people coming over and.
So here we have the higher low points, right? So we have an uptrend right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and fix this to make it purple. So here we have, why is this acting up? Here we have an uptrend, right? And I'll highlight each touch to the trend. We have one touch. We had another one right here. We had the third touch, and then on the fourth touch, the market broke it, right? Now, if you pay attention to the fact that this was the last highest low point, well, what I want to do here in this sense is always find the support to that, especially with the low point, because once the market touches that and retests it cleanly, that should be our cleanest sell at all times, right? So here's the highest low point, and here's the retest. And if you notice, when the market came back and finally cleanly retested, there was no drawdown in the.
Good question. It's always gonna be 4.
It's on the fourth touch, you're always either going to see the market break the trend or respect the trend and make a strong push to the opposite side.
Always, 100%.
Always, yep. So I'll show you more examples of that in a second too, Alex.
Gotcha.
So this is an example of this. So let's go ahead and identify some time. where the market goes ahead and does that in the past. So this was a downtrend, right? We spoke about a downtrend. And a downtrend, you have lower high points, right? You have lower high, lower high, lower high. Just like on the uptrend, we're looking for 3 touches. And on the 4th touch, we're expecting it to either break that trend or respect it, right? So we have here 1, 2, 3. On the 4th touch, when the market finally approached that trend line, it shot up, came back, retested, and kept going up, right? This time, instead of it retesting the last highest low point, it actually retested the last lowest high point, right? So here's an example of a downtrend. Since that is my last lowest high point here, I'm just gonna go ahead and find my resistance to this here. And I wanna show you guys how when the market retested this point here, is a perfect retest of that point. If I just simply grab my ruler from here to here, that's 209 pips. Based off of just understanding market structure. If you kept it simple to that point. Here's another example. See this yellow box here I drew over here? When the market shot up and retested over here, if I grab my ruler and measure from here to where the market tapped out.
My bad. Can you zoom in more? I'm on my phone right now. I'm driving, so I can barely see.
Of course.
Zoom in just a little bit more.
That's good.
A little bit more. There you go. Perfect.
So this was my last lowest high point, right? On the when the market approached it for the 4th time, right? She came down, shot up, broke it, right? Every breakout needs a retest, right? We spoke about that in the videos. When the market breaks out of a channel or trend or a zone, we always need to see a retest. So when the market shot up and retested, if you measure from the retest of that last lowest high point resistance to where the market tapped out over here, that's 567 pips. If you would have held that trade, you know, and that's just I'm just showing you this. I'm not saying that this is how I go ahead and, you know, this is all I look for. You know, this is just one way to confirm it. You understand? I'm a trader where I see confirmation in everything that I trade. So if I'm looking to buy, I need to see more than one confirmation pointing to me on the fact that the market is going to go up. So
and how many hours was it to get those 500 pips?
From the retest to that high point right here, it's I think it said 14 days.
14 days.
Yeah, but think about it like this. You know, how many times have we traded GBP in the last week? You know, I mean, you weren't here for that, but you know, we traded it about like 10 times. You know, so in that 10 times, we're catching 50 to 60 pips each. You know, that you catch your 500 pips more than you'll catch more than 500 pips in those 14 days. You know, and in the end, that's how I like to trade. I really don't like to overhold the trade. That's why I get a little upset when we get stuck in trades. But it's part of the game, you know. Give me a second, Alex. Let me. So, in the end, like, you know, when we're seeking confirmation or we're seeking any type of trend showing us or a channel, you know, at the end, I want you guys just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna buy now. All right, why am I buying? Let me go ahead and confirm that. You know, what other signs are pointing to the market going up? Okay, the market's not going up right now. You know, what else can I look for? We spoke about breakouts and fake outs, right? Let me bring out the breakouts and fake out chart. When the market breaks out of a line of resistance, you know, we'll always see the market come back and retest it. So if in the case where here, let me show you an example. Let me go on a different chart, actually. So why do I always say, why am I saying 108 or 110.88? Right here, when the market broke out, right? When the market broke out, here it never retested it here. If anything, the market gapped here, came up, came down a little bit, and shot up. But overall, like, price never came down and retested. You understand? So what we're looking for is the retest here, because let me see if someone pays attention. Arthur, in the head and shoulders, the head is always a what?
The head is the fake out. It's outside the channel.
Correct? And the last shoulder would be the what?
The last shoulder, that would be, well, it would be in the channel, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It would be the retest of that fake out. Remember?
Oh, okay. It'd be the retest of the fake out. Okay.
Nice. So now that we have, now that you understand that, right?
Yes.
If the market was in a channel, right? We're gonna find a channel here.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and grab my little head and shoulders tool real quick. So we got a head and shoulders here, right?
Mm-hmm.
If this is the channel in this sense, where this was the left shoulder, this was the head, and let's say potentially, you know, USD JPY could drop to, let's say, 110-200 for some sake, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If I drag over my zone as well over here, you know, maybe it makes a bit more sense why we want to see it come down around here. So I don't know if you guys remember, I gave you guys two prices for USD JPY. I said, if we break 110.880, then the next price we want to look at is 110.550. Anything after that, you understand? That does not mean, I mean, that's going to show us that we're not probably going to see the market go back up. If anything, we're going to see continuation going down. Why? Because these are very important levels that the market tends to respect. And in this case, for what we're seeing here, with this potential inverted head and shoulders being completed, right? I asked you guys earlier to close USD JPY. Why? Because whenever I feel that I'm not confident in a trade, no matter if she does go on and make the move, you understand? The minute I feel doubt about a trade, I don't like to be in it. Why? Because I don't like the shoulda, coulda, woulda game. You understand? And in the end, whenever I feel like, you know, I called the trade out because it looked like, you know, the market wasn't breaking 111. You know, it didn't break it. But then I'm also seeing the resistance over here. You see how when the market hit this trend line over here, and I know you guys can't really see it that well, but when the market hit this trend line, she rejected it really strong. Right? Not only is this trend line important, but look at the zone she's also rejecting. You understand? This big old supply zone up here. So with that sense, I feel more confident with it potentially coming back down another 20, 30 pips. You understand? And us setting up better for better buys than me buying right now, right? How many times have I called out a trade? You hopped on it because you didn't pay attention to where the trade was at compared to where I called it to where it's currently at. You know, it could cost you being in drawdown 20, 30 pips, 40 pips. You understand? And that's why I wanted to take this time today and share with you guys, you know, tips that are going to help you become better along with the signals that I give you. You understand? Sometimes, you know, someone like Jomar Lewis, I send out a trade. The first thing they'll do is they'll ask me, yo, JL, what is it that you're seeing? I'm not seeing it. You understand? Okay, I explain myself. They go, all right, cool. I'm going to wait for this. I feel more confident with entering here. Albeit, I want you guys to be, you know, like, I want you guys confirming what I'm seeing. You know, just because I'm making money or or Jomar's making money, or Sada's making money. I don't want you guys feeling pressured because they're making money. Like you gotta rush yourself to make money. You understand? This is a marathon, you know. I want you guys to have that mindset. It's a marathon, you know.
Right. Always question yourself before going forward.
Correct. 100%. And in the end, I want you guys also getting into a habit of confirming, right? Confirming. Yeah, I can give you guys 1 million trades and all of them hit take profit. Cool. But what I want you guys to learn is how to trade when I'm not around. You understand? What happens if I decide to go on vacation and wherever I go on vacation, there's no Wi-Fi? You know, how are you guys going to make a living if this is what you make a living with? You understand? So I want you guys managing yourselves and really doing what you got to do to get better at this. Okay? You know, we spoke about market structure. You know, we spoke about...
Definitely don't go to Cuba.
Say what?
Don't go to Cuba.
No Cuba? No, we're not going to Cuba then.
No Wi-Fi.
Hold on one second. Yo, Alex, and my fault I keep muting you is just because I'm recording the webinar. So, let's...
That again? My bad, I didn't hear you.
No, I said I'm recording the webinar, so like the noise in your car is a little loud, so that's why I keep muting you.
Oh, okay.
So, I see a lot of you guys, and Jomar, maybe you want to chime in on this in regards to like, some of the approaches you've been having. Lewis, who else is on here? Glory, if you guys want to chime in terms of, some of the approaches you guys been having towards, like any signal or whatnot, like I definitely appreciate your voice right now.
Dale, Lu, dale primero. Well, pretty much, kind of basically, you guys hear me?
A little bit.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you. I'm just trying to turn my mic up.
Kind of basically what Jarrell's explaining is that it's great that he's giving you guys signals, but the skill set is really you identifying the trade yourself, so that way you can be independent of yourself. So typically whenever he sends a signal, I don't really jump into the trades right away. I'll look at the trade and try to verify for myself and see if it makes sense. For example, the last 2 or 3 trades he called out today, I haven't even jumped on none of those yet today. I was just looking at them and kind of basically viewing and verifying what he was looking at. So everybody should be able to confirm what they're seeing, so that way you can understand why he's taking that trade and you understand it as well. If you don't understand it, then it becomes more difficult for you to understand where is your TP and why, if it does go the wrong way, why is it going the wrong way? What was missed in the trade when you're taking it? So it's very important that when you are taking the signal, you take the time, even if it's 5 minutes on your phone or wherever you're at, and look at, break it down like he explains it. Look at the daily chart, look at the 4-hour chart, and then look at the 1-hour chart, and make sure that you look for your own confirmations of what he's seeing. And you can even also just, hey, why are you calling this trade? Well, I'm watching this, or I'm seeing this, and that's an engagement for you to kind of be able to work your skill sets and sharpen your skill sets.
Correct. And to add on to what Jomar is saying is, whenever I call out a trade, it's because I'm paying attention to a specific price, and then on top of that, I'm paying attention to what we were paying attention to in the past. And whenever I feel like, okay, I'm going to enter this trade, then I'll call out, okay, buy this. And why I say buy at market is because that all I'm doing is giving you guys a reflection of every trade that I call out or give or take myself. And what I want you guys to understand is, there's been a few times someone would hop on one of the trades I send out, and they're like spending the whole time in the trade, like freaking out, like if the trade is going wrong, and they're like, oh, what do you think about this, or are you still in it? And it's like, if you confirm what we're doing and you guys analyze what we're doing, it's going to give you a better sense of what the probable causes of that trade is. It'll help you understand the worst case scenario. It'll help you understand the best case scenario. You understand? And, you're able to plan it. It's just like the saying, a goal without a plan is only a wish, A trade without a plan is only a gamble, You can't just enter a trade and hope for it to go into profit, because you guys have seen some of these trades, when they want to fly, they fly, especially if an economic event kicks in, or something by surprise comes out and affects the US dollar in a sense, and maybe we were selling and it caused the US dollar to shoot up.
Right. I got that bad habit. I already told you that.
I have a question too for you. You and Jomar too. When Alex finished.
Oh yeah. I do have that bad habit that as soon as I see a signal, especially if it comes from you, which so many signals that I've been getting, I would jump right away because I see it on my side, and I confirm it on my side as well. But you should definitely be more into it. I don't know how to say it. Kind of like have your own voice, not just follow.
Of course. And listen, I'm not saying that every trade I give out to just like ignore, but like do the due diligence and just take a quick second,
Right.
Look at the trade. Every trade we take, there's not a trade that I send this week that I'm not going to send next week and like a completely new trade. No, I send the same trades. If you guys look at the alerts channel, it's GBP JPY, NZD USD, USD CAD, GBP AUD, USD JPY. What else? Gold we trade occasionally. It's usually the same ones. So you guys by now should start charting them. So every trade that I give you guys, put it up on a chart. GBP CAD. I don't really trade that one that much. I was gonna call it out this morning. I didn't. It shot up 40 pips. I'm not mad about it. I don't have like a sense of, man, I missed out on that one. If I ever say that, it's not what I really feel, because it's just like we'll catch it back on the opposite side, And that's the mindset I want you guys feeling like. Don't feel like every trade I send out that you gotta like triple think it. But at the same time, like, do your due diligence, Like, the way you get better is by practicing this. And that's the mindset I want you guys having, because at the end of the day, putting in the proper steps consistently is what's going to get you guys good, as opposed to, I'm not teaching you guys how to take signals. I'm teaching you guys how to trade, So, I send a trade. I don't always get a question like, hey, JL, what, I'm not seeing what you're seeing. Would you mind explaining that to me? Anyone who asks me that question, you guys always see that I always answer. Look, this is what I see. This is why I expect this. I usually send my charts in the beginning of the week. These are the trades we're looking at. These are what this is what I would love to see happen. This is what I would like to, this is how I would like to attack it. This news event is coming up on this day. We break it down. That's what the market overview is for, kind of have an understanding what we're getting into this week. Now, obviously, there's certain things we can't predict on a day-to-day basis, but we prepare ourselves for it. We take what we can and we go about it that way. So, again,
it's kind of like going back to school, to college, and they give you a syllabus.
Yeah, correct. And that's why I want you guys engaging with each other. Like, one of the things I want to encourage amongst you guys yourselves is, especially some of you guys that are building good relationships amongst each other in the chat. Like, someone throw out a link, record that shit. Look at a few charts together, plan out the next morning. Look, these are some of the trades I want to look at. This is how I've been doing good with this, don't just wait for me. Like I know you guys, a lot of you guys rely on me, and that's cool. But like, take initiative too. Step up, offer resource to everyone in your school as well. Like, I'm not asking you like every day run a webinar, but like, if I was in this position that you guys,
Right. Socialize.
Socialize. I'll link up with people that are close to me. This is how I would treat it. Like it's a network. Help each other out, and that's what I want you guys doing. If in a day where like I say, yo, I'm gonna run a webinar, and unfortunately I don't make the webinar, that doesn't mean there should not be a webinar down there. Someone step up, even if you don't know what you're doing. Someone knows what they're doing. They're gonna hop on and help you understand better. Work. That's how you guys get to work in this. Spending time in these charts and getting to know the pair that you're trading. I don't freak out with USD JPY. Why? I swear if I can count the hours I've spent with USD JPY, it's like way over 30,000 hours. And they say it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert at something. So spend that time.
That's your Jenny.
Say what?
That's your Jenny.
Yeah, it's Jenny right there.
And I have a question for you. I have a question for you, JL and Jomar. When you give out the signals, okay?
Yeah.
When you give out the signals, sometimes you give them out. I look briefly, if I can, to see on a higher time frame to see if it's in that mode. If you say a sell, I look in the higher time frame to see if it's in the sell mode, or I look in the lower time frame. Sometimes I may see it in a higher time frame. Sometimes I may not see it on a lower time frame. Do you guys do that all the time?
Yeah, always. Remember.
So let me make sure I get this straight. So when you call out a trade, you look in the daily, right?
No, remember, I enter my trades. I always look for entries on the trade at the 15-minute chart.
Okay, but to confirm it or look for some confluence, part of it is looking at the higher time frames. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'll maneuver through it, but I'll always look for my entry on the 15-minute. I'll give you an example, Arthur. Right, this is the 4-hour chart on UJ. It looks crazy a little bit right now.
Right.
Let me clean this out for you a bit. So here's the 4-hour chart. We see that the market is rejecting, right? It's simply just retesting the breakout that occurred over here, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I go on the 15-minute chart, I can see it better now. You understand? I can see clearly. So if I know on the 4-hour chart that I'm looking for continuation downwards to this 1088 price that we're looking at or focusing on, I'm gonna go on the 15-minute chart, right? All I gotta do is see this right here. So if I'm writing my trade, if I'm waiting for resistance, right, I sell at resistance and I buy at support.
Right.
I'm identifying that this is a key resistance right here. And the market failed to break it, right? We had a fake out, and now this is the retest. And I ride my trade from here to here. I can at least understand that while I'm riding this trade, that in the smaller time frames, there's a little trend here I need to pay attention to. So maybe before it goes down, I need to pay attention to the support area around here where she needs to break that, right? And just like we pay attention, level 1 is support, level 2 is demand, right? If I do a little zone here where you see me draw like these little red boxes amongst my zones, these are just price areas I got to pay attention to. So in order for her to go down to here, we need to see it break what? This 111.00 price range I mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
In order for her to break that, we need to see it break it, right? And retest, right? So we're not going to see that on the 4-hour chart because each hour represents 4 hours.
That's, yeah, right. Okay.
On a 15-minute chart, I at least know that, every 15 minutes, I'm going to have a nice clean printout of a candle that's going to give me an understanding what's going to happen. What we'll do is tomorrow, same time, I'm gonna go over my 3-step system, how I analyze the three different time frames on each step, and how I use confluence amongst that with the news, with with everything, to give you guys a better sense. Because I know a lot of the new guys that have joined, they really haven't touched based onto the 3-step system along with the updated outlook of the market.
Okay. Now let me ask you this right quick while we're on the roll. The pairs, you called them out early. Can you call those pairs out again? Because I want to when I take some time out to chart those pairs that you normally work with.
Of course. Give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff, Jimmy. Man, Jimmy in Australia. So we do GBP USD, GBP AUD.
Okay, so GP. Okay.
Yeah, abbreviated GAGU.
Also the Kiwi $2.
No, you can delete that one from my watch list.
For real?
Yeah. Now I'm gonna ride it back up to 6,900, but I'm not trading that much. Too much fundamentals in play with that.
Okay, let's try that again with the pairs.
GA, GJ, GU, UJ, UK,
What was that last one you just called?
UJ,
Right, got that one.
USD CAD.
Okay.
Gold is XAU USD.
XAU
USD.
Okay, that's a new one. Okay, for me. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm AUD JPY occasionally. NZD USD occasionally.
But the main ones, at least that give me some insight. So you do the GA, GJ, GU, UJ, UCAD, XAU USD,
yeah,
and AUD JPY sometimes. But at least that give me some insight. Okay.
Yeah, if you notice, you can just take your time, scroll on the alerts channel. You see, I trade the same trades week in, week out, week in, week out. Why? I really don't got to put in that much work. I already did my charts. I just got to see where we're at in the charts.
Okay.
You know?
All right. Thank you.
Let me see. Has anyone noticed that pattern prior to me mentioning that now? Let's see. Who's with us? Brandon, what's up, man? How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm on my way home right now. I'm in the car still.
Perfect. You get home safe, man. It's good to hear from you.
Appreciate it.
Sebastian, what's up, my bro?
What up, brother?
How you feeling, man?
I'm good. I'm also driving home.
You get home safe, man. Let's see.
Good luck, bro.
Hey, Arthur, we got Gretchen in the building.
Yeah, I peeped her out. Hey, Gretchen. Yeah.
Hey, let's see. So as you can see, Arthur, one of the things I like to do is, as I said, I stay within the same charts because, it's just easier for me to keep an eye on trades that I already have an understanding what happened the last week, the week before. Like think about what happened on FOMC. You're gonna remember that, right? When we were trying to sell GU, NU. What was the other one? And they went up, and then we were trying to buy USD JPY. And what did it do? It just dropped. These are stuff you remember and you won't forget. So like when you have your charts played out and you see your technicals, you're able to confirm this, and confluence is much more easier once you have your zones drawn out. All you got to do is put up, right here, we're going to put a Fibonacci on the previous trend. So as the market is going down, we know that she can come back. I said it earlier. If she fails to retest, if she fails to break 11100, right? 111.0, then we can expect a retracement to 111.350. I said that earlier, right? So it's about 30 pips, 35 pips. And, you know, UJ likes to make these crazy moves where it'll drop and then automatically it'll come right back up. But all that is just the market coming out. It broke the 23.6 Fibonacci level, right? All this means, to keep things simple, right? When you're talking Fibonacci, is since the market, from where we drew it out, right, from 100 to 0, which was the bottom of the downtrend to the top of the bottom of the uptrend to the top of the uptrend, as the market is coming back down, the 23.6% line, all it means is that that's 23.6% of the retracement where the market is at. So from 0 to 100, if the market comes all the way down to 100, then we have 100% retracement of the previous trend. Okay? So at the end, I give you guys these numbers because I want you to understand your worst case scenario, right? You know, okay, I'm entering this trade. I probably only have $500. It won't be smart for me to enter a 50-cent lot where the market is currently at. If I am going to enter a 50-cent lot or a higher lot size, I'm going to wait for that worst case scenario to either be retested or it fails to break that. Once I see confirmation on that, I'll be comfortable entering a higher lot size at that price point. Then let's say where the market is currently at, where she has a possible another 25 pips to the upside before she makes a downward move, you know? And I want you guys having this understanding because in the end, all it does for you is just gives you that confirmation. And it also gives you an understanding of what you should do with your risk and what you shouldn't do with your risk. You know?
Also, my bad.
Yeah. Go ahead.
There's one thing called my FX book, just to keep records of your trades.
Yeah.
It's really good for beginners.
Yeah, I was actually going to talk about that too, Alex. Good looking out. So on the my FX book, let me mute you real quick. My fault. Oh, you muted it. Thank you. Let's see. You raised your hand, Brandon. What's up? I did that by mistake. All right. So on my FX book, one of the things I like to do on my FX is when you go on this website, you know, I like to use it to track my account. But one of the new things I've been doing is if I go to the, where's it at? Community. If I go to Outlook on community on this website, I can kind of have an idea what everyone is doing on these currency pairs. So let's say USD JPY. If I want to see in terms of percentages, how many people are buying and how many people are selling. And this is a way where you want to kind of use this as a confirmation based off of what everyone is doing. If everyone's selling, you know, and you know that the banks go against what everyone is doing, then you know that we can see a potential upward push to try to knock out some of these sellers before the market happens. How many of you guys have heard people, like, when they teach you how to trade, you know, they're looking at or talking about the market this way, and it can get a bit confusing because it's like, damn, now I'm building fear based off of what the banks are doing. And yeah, the banks are trying to win, you know, and they got the money to push the market up 30, 40 pips to try to scare you out of your positions and then make a freaking 100 pip move. But at the end of the day, if we get focused on what the banks are doing, you know, it's like me trying to play Little League baseball, but try to carry myself like a big leaguer. It's not going to match, you know? And what I want you guys to understand is at the end of the day, you got to focus on what you see and trade what you see. We trade setups. You understand? When I give you guys a signal, I'm signaling you a potential trade setup. I'm not giving you guys, here, take this. We're going to make 90 pips and get rich. No, that's not what I'm telling you. I'm giving you trade ideas. That's what they are, trade ideas. Why? Because when you're looking for your own trades and you see what the trade that I gave you and how it set up or how it went through, and you use that as an example, this is how you learn and this is how you earn. You understand? Not only do you earn money, but you're earning experience while you're learning the experience. All right? And the reason why I'm spending time focusing on this is not, I know a lot of people are, a lot of people are doing amazing. I love it. I love seeing all the results. I'm extremely happy with the results. But again, what impresses me more is you doing this consistently, right? Over the next 3, 4, 5 months or years, than you doing it one time today, blowing your account tomorrow, doing it another time 2 weeks from now, blowing that away. I don't want to see that. I want to see consistency. I'd rather see everyone make consistently $50 every day than you try to shoot for the moon every time and put yourself at risk every time. I'm not training you guys to be gamblers. I'm training you to be traders, strategic traders. You understand? Or in better words, an analyst. I'm teaching you guys how to analyze, assess. Sometimes I see some of you guys in the chats, you guys, get a little bit carried away with, we have a lot of fun and we're like, oh, I hope this or I hope that. No, let's not hope, don't assume what's going to happen. Assess what's going to happen. Go on the chart. Look at where our last previous resistance was, or where our last demand zone was, where the last retest of that price area was. When the market was at this price point, if you look at a larger time frame, and when the market was at this price point in the past, what did it do? Confirm what you're seeing. If you think it's going to go up, confirm it. Don't just assume it. All right? And I promise you, Jomar, give me an example of how this has helped you, confirming what you're seeing. How has that helped you?
Pretty much, I could use UJ as an example. This week, a lot of people probably jumped in on the trade early, and then you're just holding and holding and holding. And one of the reasons that you will continue to hold the trade if you have to hold a few days is by confirming exactly what is it that you're waiting for. So for example, every time I kept looking at the charts, I kept seeing that very clear head and shoulders on the 4-hour chart. With that, I would go to sleep without a problem going to sleep and leaving the trade open because I know what it's going to do. It's just a matter of time.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with EU. I think right now, most of us are still holding EU. I'm still holding EU. But the same thing, if you look at the chart is telling you what it's going to do. And you have to kind of just basically wait it out until it makes its move to where you're expecting for it to make it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And on top of that, you guys remember, I've talked to you guys how to understand news events. I've given you guys a video, a recorded video, how to read the news, the potential news coming out, and how the market reacts to these news. And in the end, NFP pushed price up a little bit. Okay, what do you think? What do you think the market's reaction is after the market reacted that way to news? It's gonna reverse. It has to reverse. It's like a give or take. You can't give the market all these pips without it coming back to try to take what is theirs. And at the end, I want you guys really focusing on that, developing that sense, and really just kind of building forward. In the end of the day, what will help you build yourself up is that the understanding of what's happening, understanding what can potentially happen, and understanding what's next. You understand? Right now we have
and not jump on the wave.
Yeah, definitely. And patience, right? Patience whenever you enter a trade that's not going in your favor, you got to make what Jomar likes to call the business decision. You understand? Make a business decision and say to yourself, okay, am I in a better position holding this trade, or am I in a better position closing it and moving on? And you guys can't be afraid to make these decisions, because at the end of the day, the way you got to view this is just like your own business. When you're managing your own business, you can't rely on someone else's decision making. You got to make your own. So if you're not able to make your own decisions, and you're not able to walk away from a trade because you're more attached to the potential profit you can make or the fact that you're down so much money. You should have assessed that from the beginning. I want, and I'm not,
close your business right away.
yeah, 100%. Let's see.
Hey Joe, I got a quick question when you got time.
Talk to me.
So I noticed that when you draw your supporting resistance, sometimes you use zones. Which ones do you prefer? Because I've been using just straight lines basically for my support and resistance, but I noticed that obviously if it breaks the support is not always breaking it, because if I use a zone, I kind of have an area instead of just a price zone.
Yeah, like I said, I look at support and resistance like like level 1 in a sense, like like it's important, but supply and demand are more important in a sense too. It's not just one price that we're focusing on, it's actually a price area. So maybe that explains why the market faked out or came back in. I'll give you an example. Here's an example of the market breaking out of a price area, right? It came back, shot up, but eventually, when the market came back to retest, right, after this strong drop that it had, notice how it's respecting not only the top, but the inside of the zone. When she came back up, she faked out. It wasn't until the market retested back over here in this area over here before it started making its downward move. You understand? So if I fill up my charts with 1,000,001 lines, it becomes hard to see the candles, and that's what we want to focus on. What's happening with the candles in that sense? Especially when the market is showing us one thing and in the end it's showing another. I want you guys really, really, really practicing what I'm teaching you guys. You understand? Once you get comfortable with what I teach you guys, then I want you guys venturing off and kind of putting your own twist to it. You understand? I don't expect you guys to do everything the way I do. All I ask from you is to build structure, build a routine, build consistency. You understand?
Who asked that question about the zones?
Brandon.
Brandon, there's an indicator which is custom made, the one that I'm using. It gives you all resistance and supports automatically as soon as you zoom in or zoom out and change the time frames. It's super, super helpful for
You use that on TradingView?
Yeah.
Can you share that with them?
Yeah, I'll share it as soon as I get home.
Yeah, that'll be dope, man. Appreciate it.
You got
it. But yeah, I mean, as we're on here, does anybody have any questions? Let's see, Jose Furman, where you at?
I'm here.
Talk to me, man. You got any questions?
Nah, not at the moment, but what's up, guys? What's going on?
How you feeling?
Good, man. Just here, just absorbing everything like a sponge.
That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. I'll go over any questions you guys have. So if you guys want to take some time and ask any questions or ask me to go over something you may not have a strong understanding of, I highly suggest you take this time, especially if I'm recording it. It would really help you guys out. So let me know. Let's see. I'll go one by one. Let's see. Gretchen's audio is not connected. Sebastian, you got any questions for us?
Sorry about that. I always forget that I unmute myself. Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. I always do that. I'm so sorry, guys.
You're good, man. You're good. Let's see. Sada, you have any questions?
I'm good for now.
Perfect. Let's see. Lewis, any questions, bro? Nope. Jose, Jomar, anything you guys feel? Anything you guys feel I should go over?
I don't have any questions. I would like to know, and everybody in the group chat should kind of be chiming in on at least something. And like maybe let's discuss something you and I were talking about. How's everybody's psychology when it comes to seeing a negative trade? How do your emotions? How do you know how to control your emotions? Which is one of the biggest things to that'll kind of put you in a will mess you up if you don't know how to control that. I would like to hear everybody's opinion on that.
I could chime in on that. Your risk to reward ratio is something that you gotta work on. Other than that, it's a I don't know. It's very general, that question.
Well,
It could be different for most people.
the question really is the following. For example, are you a person that can control your emotions when you see that the trade is a negative for you? And a few things that help help you with that is using a few things that I constantly always kept saying at the beginning of when I started coming back into the group chat was risk management and patience. Once you have your analysis properly done, if everything it's lined up for you, how do you handle once you're in the trade? Because it's good and gravy to handle a trade when you're in blue. But I've seen people close out a trade, right before the move is going to happen, and guess what? They just lost money, and then it happens either way.
Yeah, 100%.
I have a question. I mean, not a question, but a statement on that myself. Last week and I think the week before, I had got into two trades where I lost a lot, and one of them, no, I had to wait a long time for it to come back down where I can get out of it safely. Okay. Um, this Today I did a trade, and I'm saying this for a reason. Today I did a trade, and I did well on the trade. I had to go back and see what it was, but it was a nice little trade. I did well, and I figured it was going to go back down some more. Looking at my trading view, and what I did, I went ahead and got back in it, which I shouldn't have, and it went the other way. But looking at the way I marked it, it was supposed to go back up the opposite way. But what I did, I said, I am not going to sit here all day and let it go higher and higher, and then I can't take any trades because of my account. So what I did was I just closed it out because I said, I know I can make it back.
Correct. And that's why I want you, Arthur, that's why I want you spending more time before you make any decision on entering a trade. You're spending all your time analyzing on TradingView before you make your trade. Go ahead and look at your TradingView before you do so. That's why I wanted you to download it on your phone.
Right, I got it on my phone. I got it.
You're lucky. You're lucky. You're broken.
I could actually give you an answer on that on my side.
Hold on 1 second, Alex. I got you. I'll let you say that in a sec. You're lucky though. You're the only person I think in the school that can actually physically trade on TradingView because you have a Wanda. You understand? So that's why I told you stick to Owanda because it's gonna help you out in that sense. But what were you saying, Alex?
Thanks.
Alex,
all right, so my question to that is that I've been trading for 3 weeks already. So basically the money that I have on it, it's kind of like money that I'm willing to lose. Not willing to lose, but I don't mind if I lose it because I know I will learn from it. And it actually opened up. It opened up a new chapter basically on Forex. I only did $100 deposit last week, and $100 this week. For me, I'm not saying that I'm rich or anything, but that's not that much money that, I'm going to put my family at risk or I'm going to go broke or something like that. I know it hurts to see your account negative, but, you learn from it.
Yeah. What is it you always say, Jomar? You got to be willing to what?
What was that?
What is, como que tú dices, like you always, just as much as you're willing to make $1 million, you got to be willing to lose that. Well, no.
Oh yeah. Anytime you go into a trade, you got to have the understanding that you're going in that you could probably lose it or you can make it. You have to understand that before you even place the trade.
Yeah, 100%. So that goes back to, Jomar asked earlier, like, how are you, not only how are you managing your trades, but how are you managing your emotions? I want every single one of you guys to write this down. If your happiness as a trader is based off the result of each trade, you're never going to be happy. Okay? So I'll say that again. If your happiness is based off the result of each trade, you're never going to be happy. Jomar says it all the time. He likes to see red. Why? What was it you said? You like to see red what?
Well, whenever I see red, for me, it's a drawdown, but it gives me additional entry points for me to re-enter the trade and come back when it's on reversal mode and start eating up. Start eating profits. So it's a little kind of strategy I've been using for the last 4 or 5 weeks, and it's hell of a work to me. 20K so far.
Yeah.
For me, it's kind of like a catalyst. Like it would fire me up.
Yeah, you got to. And on top of that, it's like this is where proper risk comes in play. Like, you're not entering every trade like if it was a lottery ticket, hoping to make $10,000. You don't hope to make $10,000. You plan your 10 grand. You take your trade and you ride it to the zones that you're looking to. And then if you want to continue riding that trade down or up, you have to identify the zones and what's confirming that it's going to continue going down. You understand? And this is what's going to help you. So, Jose, you asked me, what was it that I said? I said, if you base your happiness off the result of each trade you take, you will never be happy. I've showed you guys in front of you. I've showed you guys twice in the last 2 months where I've taken close to $20,000 total in loss. Nothing happened. I probably called 1 or 2 people flipping out about being mad that I didn't stick to my plan. But that doesn't bother me.
Hold on to that thought. Now, you just said something very important. And this is the reason why I would like for everybody to emphasize on that is basically you allowed a specific emotion to kind of overrule what your game plan originally was.
Correct.
And resulting in basically a loss.
Correct. And, a loss in my mind, and these are tips you guys can write down. These are, I could teach you the craziest secret of trading. But the true secret is your mind. You understand? That's your true secret weapon, like how you control your mind and your emotion. And at the end of the day, one of the tips I'll give you is the fact that, a loss is not a loss till you close it. But at the same time, the only time anything is considered a loss is when you don't apply what you learned from it. You understand? So if you blew an account, what did you learn from blowing that account? It cost you that much money. Whatever much amount of money you had on there, it taught you something. So when that opportunity to apply what you learned there presents itself and you don't apply that learned knowledge, guess what? You're going to learn again. And you'll continue learning until you apply what you learned. And that's why I want you guys to understand, like, not only is a loss not considered a loss, the only way it's considered a loss is if you don't apply what you're learning. A loss is not considered a loss until you close it, correct? Just the same way as your actions, right? So I want you guys to take into effect and to take into consideration everything you've been doing and what it's been costing you. And I want you guys to now start looking at yourselves and say to yourselves, okay, how do I take it to the next level, right? How do I take it to the next level? Okay, I've been making consistent profits for the last month. How do I take it to the next level? Planning it, right? We're gonna plan it. You know, I speak with Jomar daily. I speak with Lewis daily. Jose Gonzalez. Where you at, Jose? You here?
Yes, sir.
Tell me what has been the biggest lesson for you in the last few weeks as you've been growing your accounts, as you've been growing your confidence. What is your biggest takeaway from everything?
Man, just one lesson. There's a ton of lessons, brother. Patience has been a huge one, especially the last few weeks, and just understanding how the markets move. And it's really something that I wanted to add was really how, because you and I talk on the daily, and a few of us talk on the daily, and we see how, and I'm starting to see now how you're analyzing the markets and the way I'm looking at them and how we're kind of, on the same page. Like I asked, okay, well, look at this chart. You see, is this what you're seeing? Yeah, it's the same thing I'm seeing. So that's just progress, but definitely patience, because it's not knowing that coming into this is not a get rich quick or a lottery ticket. Is really going to take a lot of analysis and understanding how the markets move. That's where you get paid. And I've seen the account growth. The byproduct of that has been the growth of the account.
Correct.
Before that, you would burn accounts and I would lose money and trying to figure out, like, not really connecting the dots, but it's finally like everything's coming together now. It's really nice to see the whole thing just converging and everything's starting to make a lot more sense now.
Correct. And on top of that, it's like, there's so many laws here in the US where it's like I gotta be careful with the language I use because I can't really give you financial advice unless I'm licensed to. But at the end of the day, I'm giving you guys perspective, the whole point is this: we want to trade tomorrow and next week and the week after that. So if I'm trading today and I'm putting it all on the line today, am I financially prepared to reinvest more money tomorrow because I want to get back in it? That sounds like you going to the store and buying a lottery ticket. Stop treating it like that. I don't want you guys treating this like a lottery ticket. The way it will respect you is when you respect it. And how you respect it is by doing what you need to do. You're gonna you're gonna put your charts to work. You're gonna put the plan that you come up with and put it to work. You're gonna go ahead and define what your outcomes are, what your possible scenarios are, and that's how you're gonna trade it. You understand? What were you saying, Alex?
It sounds corny when people say, you need to in order for you to get money, you need to spend money, But at the end of the day, that's 100% true,
No, 100%. You have to. But guess what? I mean, I've taken. I think I should start tallying the dollars that I've paid for certain lessons, And it's just like, at the end of the day, I want you guys to understand that, like, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to understand what's coming your way. Just prepare yourself so you don't have to learn from it. Like, especially if someone like myself is your mentor and you got someone like, let's say, like Jomar, who constantly keeps blowing his account, and the reason why he keeps blowing his account is because he keeps over risking. What should Arthur do? Not over risk, right? It's common sense. You are a fool when you're learning off your own lessons, especially when you have access to watching other people make these mistakes and you can learn from them. That when you have the opportunity to learn off of someone else's mistakes and you still learn off your own mistakes, I believe somewhere in the Bible it says that you're a fool, and I want you to understand that. Take advantage of everything. I'm giving everything you guys are going through as traders. I've been through it, other people have been through it. Jose's been through it. Arthur's been through it. Jomar's been through it. Sada's been through it. You know, Furman's been through it. Alex has been through it. And in the end, I want you guys to really feel and understand that if I've been through it and you're now going through it, consult with one of us, you know, and take advantage of that. You know, again, the mindset is there, the resources are here, and I want you guys to take advantage of it fully. You know, I'm not only am I the only one that, yeah, I'm trading full time, I'm the teacher, but there's a community for a reason. You know, it's not just so that you guys can like each other's pictures or profits. Like, no, I want you guys growing together, you know, building relationships with each other and taking advantage of each other, of everything that's in place for you guys, you know?
Let me add something once you're done.
Yeah, go ahead.
Something that I learned in sales, it's goal getting. So, you know, I started doing it with a sheet of paper and a blue ink pen. I don't know, it has to be blue for some reason. Law of attraction, whatever. Set up 5 goals each day for 1 week. The second week, you're gonna add a 6th goal, so it's gonna be 6 goals for that week. And third week goes, and you add another goal, so it's gonna be 7 goals. We'll up till you get maybe, let's say, 50 to 60 goals, whatever. Now, those goals, they're not just written down by you, but they're just gonna be in your head for maybe the rest of your fucking life.
Of course. And that's how you manifest things, bro. 100%.
Yeah. And it actually, you know, works.
Of course.
I started doing it again with Forex. Before, when I was doing sales for a consolidation bank. And then when I opened up my company, I started doing it again. And, you know, it works. But I got lazy and I stopped doing it.
No, of course. And all it is what you're doing. You have a goal, and you're coming up with a plan for it, you know?
Yep.
Planning your goal out. You know, you're not just wishing on your goal. You're planning it out. So what I want you guys to understand today is we'll go over the 3-step system in depth tomorrow, 9:30 again. We'll go over it very, very detailed from beginning to end of the webinar. From beginning to end. This whole webinar was recorded, which was a really good one. We had a lot of key points. A lot of you guys asked a lot of good questions. And you guys also want to take advantage of these recordings and watch them. Anytime you feel like you're stuck on a trade, you know, listen, hop on one of these recordings. Remember some of the key important things that we should be focusing on, some of the things we should be looking at. You understand? And keep growing. This is not a get rich quick overnight. This is a get rich quick. This is a get rich over time. You understand? And I want you guys to have that understanding and to respect that. Yeah, there's no time to when you can get great at this and run with it. You can start learning today, and in 3 weeks it's like you understood it, and boom, you're running with it. You know? And you know, you look at someone like Jose Gonzalez, he's been trading for 45 years. And someone like Noel come in and he's like, you know, trading for like 3 weeks and he's doing better than Jose, you know? I want you guys to understand there's no competition here. And that's why I want you guys to understand, like, build up with each other. This is what I want to build up with each and every one of you guys. I don't want to just be sitting here, you know, being the only one making money. I want to see Noel make money. I want to see Alex make money. I want to see Arthur make money. I want to see each and every one of you guys improve your lives. That's what I want to see. You understand? Do what you want to do. Eliminate the need of money from your equation. Eliminate the lack of time from your equation, you know, and really take advantage of this. But, you know, I know we were on here for a bit. It's getting late for some of you guys on the East Coast. Let's wrap up this webinar. Let's see. Does anybody have any questions before we go?
Yeah, JL, just a quick question on GBP. I'm seeing there's news, there's folder news for it this morning. Well, coming in tomorrow morning actually. And based on what I'm seeing on Forex Factory, the forecasted number is lower than the previous report,
Mm-hmm.
which means it would be bad for the currency if the actual numbers come out. Does that mean, like, let's say you have a trade, like, let's say GA, does that mean that it may cause that pair to go up if you have a buy on it?
If the only way news correlates with the price is, for instance, we have all these different types of news events that come out at 4:30, right? We have 2 red folders and 4 yellow folders, right? You can see GDP MM come out lower than the forecasted number, and then each and every one of these files come out higher than the forecasted number, and then you see the market, kind of start off by dropping, but then it just shoots up. That can be a reason. Now, if it's just one red folder, like let's say, I'm trying to see, like, usually they come in packages, but like, see, Euro at 7:45 in the morning tomorrow, we got 2 red folders. They both, in order to see it both like shoot up or go down, you kind of want to see either both of them higher than the forecasted, or if you want to see it go down, you want to see it lower than the forecasted, And something like this is hard to pin it to just one of the reports, because, here we have the manufacturing production. And again, if you guys don't know how to read this, on Forex Factor, if you tap on the folder, it tells you what it is, how the effect is, when it's released, and why we should care on this. That's my most important emphasis of focus for you guys, is why we should care on this, because obviously, as you guys know, if it's greater than the forecasted, which is what they're predicting the number to be, if that number is, for instance, the predicted number was 0.2%, right? And the report came out 0.8%. That's about almost 0.6% higher than the forecasted number. Then you will see GBP go up. You understand? But
right,
in the sense, like tomorrow, it can be tough to pinpoint to one report or not. If you read on it, the GDP tomorrow, what it measures is the change in total value of all goods and services produced by the economy. Obviously, greater than forecasted is good for the currency, meaning if it comes out greater, we'll see an upwards movement. If it comes out lower, we can see a potential downward movement, and just kind of take a look. My advice to you, Jose, is for someone like, learning how to read news, listen, right here, it gives you what the forecasted was the previous month and what happened when that report came out. Well, on March 12th, look at what happened here. GBP USD, we're going to pull up the 1 hour time frame, right? March 12th. Let me grab my vertical line.
By the way, EU should be fun tomorrow.
Nice, right?
Yeah, because we got Euro and USD news, both red.
So here, Jose, the forecasted for last month was greater than the forecasted, right? So it came out 0.05. So we look at something like
right.
USD. Yeah, well, 435 is how do on a 24-hour clock? I'm not too good with that. What time frame is that?
16:34.
16 will be 4. Well, 4 p.m.
16, right?
Yeah.
That's 4 p.m. or 4 a.m.?
No,
4 p.m.
What's 4 a.m.? So 4?
Just
4
4.
a.m. would
4.
just be
4.
4.
Where did it go now? Oh, there it is. So the market shot down, right, at 4 o'clock, and at 4:30, when the report came out, you see how it created this doji and how it candle, it kind of probably went up and came down. But this report comes out at 4:35, right? So if we pay attention to that case and look at the 5-minute chart, which is probably not going to let us look at it. Oh, yeah, it is. You can kind of see here how the market came up and then dropped down and then shot up. Right? So this is 435 right here. See how the candle was greater than?
Yeah.
It moved up like 5 pips. You know, so there was 4 other reports there. So the market got up, came down, and it wasn't until 7:30 where she finally made this strong push up. You know, so just back test it, bro. Like, you know, take advantage of what you're seeing, and really just, you know, confirm it. You know, okay, we got news coming up. What else can be the situation in this case? What else am I potentially looking at in here? You know, and just go back and confirm it. That's why I want you to get into the habit of. But like for the news event, you know, how do we predict stuff? You know, just kind of like what I like to do, and I'll go over that real quick for you guys. Anytime like a major news event comes up, how do I prepare for it? I look at what happened last month. I look at what the charts are telling me, right? And I also look at what everyone else is doing. You know, I showed you guys the MyFX outlook. You know, kind of have a good understanding of what's happening. I look at the strength of the currency in that current session. You know, if NFP is coming out at 8:30 in the morning, and I know New York session starts at 8, I want to start paying attention to the strength of whatever currencies I'm trading from 8 o'clock leading up to 8:30. You know, say Dual gave you guys a good tip. You know, he said, you know, pay attention on the 1-minute chart. You know, whatever, when the news is about to drop, whatever the candle closes at 1 minute before the market makes his move, you know, you usually would see, if the market's going to go up, you would see like the previous candle go down, and then you see that. You know, these are good tips. I haven't really back tested them like that, but, you know, again, this is what we're here for. You know, everyone has their own perspective or their own way of understanding it. You know, I want you guys being able to share this information because, again, maybe something I'm saying is not getting to, you know, like Arthur or something, but maybe, you know, Jose Gonzalez's viewpoint of the way he's attacking it is what makes sense to Arthur. And that's what I want you guys developing that confidence with. You know, anything else you guys want me to hit on? Let me see.
Jay, if you could just take a quick look at gold. I'm looking at the chart right now. And I have to make a business decision, so I'm trying to figure out or get at least somebody else's opinion on what they see to see if it matches what I'm looking at.
What are you doing, buying or selling?
I'm in a buy right now.
Where did you buy? What's your entry?
1305.
Never buy at 1305. No, I'm for real here.
And yeah, I see that clearly.
Hold on one second. My internet's cooked. No one tell me that. You guys hear me? You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. This internet's retarded. 1305, right? If
Yeah.
I put a resistance based off of this price here of 1305, let's look at this zone here, or even from here to here, from this high to this high. Don't ever buy unless the market breaks it and retests the top. It's just a very important area. You guys can see, look, 1, 2, 3, 4. You understand? I think Alex earlier was asking me about gold, and I told him I wasn't feeling too comfortable buying right now.
Yeah, and I actually just did a Fibonacci, and I see that it hit at the 50% and bounced off of it. But I have a trend line going up, and it just bounced off of my trend line as well. So I'm trying to see maybe if I break even, or trying to just decide on where's a good place to maybe make that decision.
Gold is correlated to USD what again?
Gold, I mean, anytime I see the dollar go up, I know that gold is gonna drop, because again, gold in this case is trading against the dollar. You know? So what you guys got to pay attention to is the front pair, right? If the front pair is USD JPY, I mean, if the front pair is USD and the US dollar is strong, then you know that gold in this sense may be weak, you know? Especially if the yen is weak, because the yen correlates with gold. But let's see if I can give you a clear idea. I mean, I could definitely see her come back down to 1297. Before that, it can come back up to 30. You can go back down to 1300, I'd say. So you may want to look at that. How much are you down, you said?
Right now, I'm like $40, which is 35 actually. So it's moving a little bit, but I don't want to get to like $100 or $70 where I'm just like taking it personal.
If it breaks 1300, then you're gonna have to make a decision, which is about.
It's not too far.
That's about like 200 pips.
Yeah.
Yeah, 240 pips.
Okay.
Let me see what my shit over here is saying. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that would be my best point to buy at 1300 flat. Maybe you want to look into that.
All right, I appreciate it.
I'll send a more updated look into it in the ideas chat in a bit.
All right, perfect.
Other than that, let's see. Anybody else have any other questions?
I got one real quick. Can you it's a little like in what you said, if you base your happiness of the result.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You want me to repeat that?
The last bit. I got the first half. What was just the last bit?
Oh yeah, if you base your happiness on the result of each trade, you'll never be happy.
Okay.
Let's see. All right. Well, I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time. I'm gonna take a quick little break. Let's see.
Oh shit! I had My bad. Quick question.
Yeah, talk to me.
You all have a good night.
Actually, no. My bad. I'm just driving. I just blanked out. 1 second.
You good? You remember, Alex? All right, I'm gonna take a
Hey,
break for a little.
JL,
Yeah.
real quick, bro, what's up, man? Listen, I know that some of us didn't step out of that trade on UCAD you called out earlier, but the ones that stayed in it and missed it by accident, do you still think that we should stay in that trade or we should just step out? I mean, it's going in our favor, but I didn't look too much into it as well. I just took that trade and kept it moving.
Let me see. UCAD still looks good, man. I would like to see a retracement back down to 1.3315 around there. Yeah, 1.3315. I like to see a retracement there to look for another re-entry.
Like that. All right, bro.
How are you doing on it?
Doing pretty good, man. I caught a decent amount of pips so far.
Nice. Yeah, good thing you didn't listen to me. I just didn't want to take it because the swap fees right now on the Canadian dollar are extremely high because of their interest rates. So it kind of I had a pretty high lot size on it. So I didn't want to like really risk too much and then wind up like getting like a $90 freaking, what do you call it? Swap
fee.
cost. Yeah.
Yeah, I came out of that one. I'll see. I'll wait for the retracement before I get back in it if it does retrace.
Yeah, it's looking like it's giving up a little bit, but if it doesn't, what we want to keep an eye out for is if it doesn't break there's a support area at 1.3325. No, I'm lying. 1.3327. If the market doesn't break that little support area there, then we can see continuation to the upside.
Heard that.
But nah, I'm gonna catch you guys tomorrow and get some rest. I'll send the recording once it finishes uploading. I hope everyone has a good night.
All right, bro. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night, guys.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.